Hi, good evening, everybody. I can see that the glam quotient is reduced in the room, so, Kalli, we'll have to hold up the glam quotient of this room. Okay?
That's exactly what news does, right?
Really. You know, in a world where consumers are surrounded by media 24/7, it's a point I made yesterday also. Short stories, long form, short form, microdramas, podcasts. Where does news lie? How does it remain relevant, profitable, has the same traction that, I don't know what is the average age of this room. But in the era I grew up, news was extremely important. The quality of news that you read was extremely important. And the idea here is to look at a 50-year-old brand which has remained, by the way, this is India Today's 50th year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So how does a 50-year-old brand, which came out with India's first AI anchor, which is doing, I think, some of the most cutting-edge work. I went to their office earlier this year, and just now Kalli showed me something. I don't know if you're playing that clip. They're really doing a whole lot of interesting work around technology, integrating the newsroom and AI. So Kalli, quickly, how does news stay relevant in this time? And how does a 50-year-old brand stay relevant?
First of all, nowadays, 50 is the new 25.
I'm so glad to hear that.
So, we're still a very young brand, and I think that the line that Chairman once said in his letter to the editor many, many years ago holds true for everything that we do. Men age, magazines don't. That was years ago. I think that was maybe in the 20th year of India Today, he said that. And today, India Today magazine is 50 years. And in true sense of that, men have aged, but the magazine hasn't, because from producing, when it started fortnightly, so 2 in a month, right? Now we're producing 120,000 pieces of content a month, which is insane, right? At its peak, India Today magazine, I think, was 5 million readership, right? Now you have 5 billion video views in a month. So just look at the scale of what's happened, right? The brand in that sense has not either slowed down or lost its relevance. I know lots of people think that, people are not watching prime time like they used to. 8 baj gaye hain, switch on news, right? But I think that what's happened is news has become a central part of your life through the day. Instead of us connecting with the audience at one time in the day, you're connecting with them from the morning. Because the minute they pick up their phone, first thing in the morning, you wake up, you pick up your phone, and there are news alerts. So you're connected with us from that time. You may not be connecting with us on one particular platform that you used to, but you're connecting with us across different platforms.
Take me through it in the India Today journey with the news consumer.
So, like, for example, in India Today now, started off as a magazine, right? Now it has an app, it has a WhatsApp channel, it has a website, it has a mobile site, it has an Instagram site, it has a Snapchat, it has Twitter, and it has a television channel, right? And it also has events. It also has podcasts. So the strategy is that if there is a platform available, your brand should be on it.
How do you integrate all the pieces, and where does the core brand come in here? You know, that integrated newsroom thing which we talked about? You want to bring that
in? So the integrated newsroom is actually the key of what we do, and is very central to our DNA, and it took a long time to put together. It's not an easy thing to do, right? There's a lot of carrot and stick. But I think over time, what happens is if you're consistent about it, you start getting in, you train people who are already there, and you start getting in people who are married to that ethos. They basically want to tell a story, and they're not stuck to a medium. So, like the fun thing, for example, earlier on, the reporters would only do stories for one particular platform, and it would be very hard to get them to do a story for another platform, even digital. They were like, oh, who reads digital, right? But over time, when that cusp happened, where digital became just as big as print, they started getting feedback and interaction with the work that they did on digital. They started doing it themselves. Now, if you don't tweet out their story, they will make your life miserable. We have 80 full-time reporters and 400 stringers and retainers, right? How many things can we tweet out? So one of the people who has the most stressful job is a social media editor who has to do that filtering where people are fighting, like, please give us time. So the latest thing that reporters have done, they've been doing digital and TV and print and social anyway, is we've launched a podcast with them called Reporters Off Air. So they come in once a week and they sit around and they have chai and it's recorded and they talk about whatever has happened in the week, which is sort of semi-official, unofficial, and what it took them to get a story. And the engagement of that is phenomenal because people want to know what was the backstory, right? What happened behind what they just saw on air.
Okay.
So it's a great way. And part of it is just organic, right? Conversations with reporters. Because I'll talk to them and they'll tell me the juiciest pieces of information. And I'm like, okay, this is not on air. I understand that some of it can't be on air. But a slightly sanitized version of it can go. It can't go on TV. It can definitely go on a podcast. And that's where it started. And they started it. And it's, done really well.
But this 24/7 then involves definitely multiple brands. So you have Lalan Top, you have BT, you have India Today, you have Mo. All of that put together is what the India Today brand is. Tell me a lot about a lot of the work that you've done in AI. I find that fascinating because I see news organizations using it for workflow, for a whole lot of, subbing, dubbing kind of work in entertainment and workflow in news. But India Today has taken it several steps forward. I mean, you've created AI pop stars. I just saw an advert. Are we playing that advert, by the way?
No, so it's not an advert. It was basically a way to create anchor links for our Bihar elections, right? Instead of getting the anchor to do the links for the different packages, we said, why can't we use Bihar's folk singing traditions to do it? And now if we had shot this, it would be impossible to do in the time frame we wanted to do it. But if you do it through AI, you can actually do it. Now, this wasn't something I went down and discussed. Because we've been working on this medium for the last 2 years, these things are happening automatically within the team. And to me, that is the most reassuring sort of reward, let's say, of what we put together, right? That it's happening as a reflex. Producers, anchors are actually thinking, oh, we can do this through AI. They're not stopping their thinking, saying, how will we shoot this? What will it cost? They're like, just think it, because we can do it. Now, I don't know, can we actually play that piece out? Because it'll kind of give the audience a flavor of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's just a lot of words.
Are we good?
Yeah.
फिर से सुशासन जंगल मंडल और कमंडल किसमें कितना दम है भैया अरे किसमें कितना दम है भैया अरे किसके दल में कितने दलदल आई बिहार चुनाव की बारी सबकी अपनी अपनी तैयारी बीजेपी ने चुने प्रभारी शुरू करी भारी तैयारी मोदी शाह की ताकत सारी अपनी पूरी टीम उतारी
अरे भैया बीजेपी का प्लान बड़ा है इम्तिहान पर बहुत कड़ा है
आरजेडी में चल रही जमकर खींचा तान पहले तेज प्रताप कटे फिर बहन ने खींची कमान भैया सर पे आया चुनाव फैमिली में है बहुत तनाव
पहली बार बिहार में कांग्रेस का प्लान CWC मीटिंग से पार्टी में फूके प्राण जुटे अगर तीनों गांधी उठेगी क्या कोई आंधी पहली बार बिहार में कांग्रेस का प्लान CWC मीटिंग से पार्टी में फूके प्राण जुटे अगर तीनों गांधी उठेगी क्या कोई आंधी है चुनाव बिहार का मुद्दों की ये खान लेकिन जनता को सही मुद्दों की पहचान करे नेताजी वादे जनता सब समझे इरादे अरे भैया करे नेताजी वादे जनता सब समझे इरादे अरे भैया करे नेताजी वादे जनता सब समझे इरादे
So the whole thing here has actually been created in AI. The actors don't exist. The music doesn't exist. There was no recording studio, right? It was an idea and a script, and it was written through prompts, and we created this. So this is an amazing possibility that AI is opening up,
Is there a large strategic plan, and I think we've had this conversation earlier, is there any strategy, on whether it's on cost cutting, revenue augmentation, or simply innovation as far as using AI in your business is
Look,
concerned?
one of the things that has been the secret sauce of our success, and you mentioned that you're a 50-year-old brand, how do you continue to be young, how do you continue to be profitable, is that we always adopt new technology and we go towards it without fear. Right? Just the way we approach stories, that's how we approach technology. So when it came to social media, we were right up there, which is why all of our stats on social media with both of our brands, English and Hindi, whether it's Instagram, WhatsApp channel, Twitter, they're really, really good because we've really worked at it and we go for it very aggressively. AI, I see as the new technology, and being fearful of it is not going to help, right? I think that you've got to jump in feet first and get to the depths of that technology and master it before it masters you. So it allows you to use it, and uses for it will come up as you go along, right? Like now, we had never thought of this idea, but because it's being socialized across the teams, different people in the teams are thinking of it on how to make their life efficient better, right? One part is it takes out the monotony. Nobody likes to do transcription. You know how boring transcription is, right? Now AI lets you do that. Different languages, which you've already talked about, Netflix, OTT anyway does it. But things like this, where you can create very expansive footage and visuals without any shoots, right? It's allowing you to do that. It's allowing you to create AI anchors to do things when anchors don't want to be in a shift, like let's say 3 a.m., right? It's allowing us to create AI versions of our anchors, of course with permission, so that when they are away or they are on field, we can still use them in studio. AI cloning of their voices, so that you can have better voiceovers with your signature voices versus a person, you know, who may not be available at a particular time. So I think that the idea is to increase efficiency, reduce monotony, look at new revenue streams, which this could create, but also just be in the center of the technology and see where it goes. You know, I don't know the answer to it right now because every day something new happens and it's amazing.
Fair enough. But you know, there's also this thing that AI is growing on the very thing that is feeding on, which is a copyright for original work across the world. As a news publisher, where do you stand on that one?
Well, I think that, you know, first of all, as a news publisher, we've been totally scraped by big tech, right?
So
without
you're
permission,
subject to, you're
without
subject,
permission,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So part of it is like, okay, you can sit there and complain, you took all our stuff without permission, now, you know, are we going to sue you and nothing is going to come of it? Or you can join the game and say, okay, you know what, we're going to use the engines and the tools you've created to fight your own game or be part of the game. Again, we're very mindful of copyright because we, at this moment in time, are creating things ourselves. We are not sort of scraping off other people. It is from the genius of the mind of our own people, but the tools are different. Instead of shooting it, for example, we're using tools and prompts to do it. We're not creating likeness of Amitabh Bachchan to do the anchor links, but we could have. We could have done him like slightly shorter, blue eyes. There's no IP to that, right? So I'm saying that that's a very interesting area that law, ethics, AI will have to resolve. How, you know, you've read this thing about how people are going and registering themselves to say, I'm human and I have an IP. That's crazy. What kind of planet are we on that we have to register ourselves as an IP and say, I'm human, so that AI can't copy us?
Even dead people, you mentioned.
Yes.
What about dead people's
Yeah.
IP? You know,
I mean, you've seen that there have been fight on old singers that have been brought to life. Bal Thackeray recently was brought to life by two parts of his party, right? The Shinde side and his son, and each claiming his legacy, right? Where he's saying things which he had not said, right? They made him. Now, who has the right to do that? Does the bloodline have it? Does anyone who owns his legacy have it? I don't know the answers to that, right? Lawyers will have to sort those things out. So we haven't got into the tricky bits yet with the stuff that we're doing, but we're definitely watching the space very carefully.
You know, one of the things, though we've sort of skipped a lot of that, it mentioned that, you know, how news is shaping India's identity. But sometimes I wonder, in this period in time when we are surrounded by it 24/7, are country-specific brands in this space even relevant? I'm just curious, how
I think
do you
they're
look
even
at it?
more relevant, you
Yeah?
know, because now earlier on, I think there was this sense of if it's foreign or it's coming from America or UK, it must be more credible, right? But I think that sense is gone. Somewhere that mask that, West was better than us has fallen. And part of the work has been what Prime Minister has done from 2014 to really bring pride back in India and Indians. I think that, sorry, I lost my thought.
You said
okay.
that
So the
2014.
pride back in India and Indians, and that has led to people wanting sources from their own countries. And you've seen that people trust, in Middle East, trust Al Jazeera, in Russia, they're trusting Russia Today, or that's the voice, and CNN is for America, and NYT, et cetera, But I think that India needs its own voice, right? I think we're a little bit late to the game. We have, not we as in India Today group, but overall, right? There are 2 points I want to make here. I think digitally, we're all trying to have a global voice. A lot of the media organizations in India have tried that. We have one as well, which we're sort of working on. It's called India Today Global, and we talk about global events and India's point of view on it, because news right now is dominated by global events. The second thing I want to say is a little bit more contentious and controversial. Aaj Tak right now is the world's #1 news channel on YouTube, the #1. It's more than any other news channel in the world, right? We are, I think, close to 80 million subscribers, or 75, 74 million subscribers on Aaj Tak. But we don't necessarily get the same stature as an international brand which may be slightly smaller. And this is my constant sort of fight and representation to them. And I think that to a certain extent, there is digital imperialism now, right? Where something coming in from a country outside of maybe America and Europe is not given necessarily the same stature. The metric is not exactly the same. It's not a case of how many viewers and subscribers and page views you have, right? They're doing their own metric, which is weighted. So in that
I didn't
sense,
understand. Stature meaning what? I mean, T-Series is the biggest YouTube channel in the
in
world.
terms of revenue. So let's say
okay.
one viewer in India is not the same as one viewer in the US. By a huge margin.
So the revenues that you
Yes.
can leverage that to
Yes.
is not the same as
Yes.
for our global.
And also the allowances that they will make.
Okay. I
right?
hear you.
Yeah.
I hear
so
you.
there is that little bit of digital imperialism, I feel, that we are facing now.
Because
you
the
know?
world's biggest platforms are from
Yes.
outside of here.
Yes.
So we build our own platform
Yes.
and let's see what happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't know why, but they've cut our time. So though we seem to have time, but I've got a chit saying time's up. But thank you, Kalli. That was a wonderful thing. I love the stuff about AI and the tech part that you're going. It scares the shit out of me, but I
No,
really
I want to
love.
add one thing, since
Yeah.
our time is not up, and we can see it on the timer. I don't care about the chit. So I think one of the things I want to talk about, since we talked about AI and workforces, I think one of the things that's sort of exciting me is right now as a news organization, you are primary source or first source, right? People want to hear about a news event from a human being's point of view, and they want a reporter on the ground to tell that story. So that piece for right now, AI cannot replicate. But if you had seen yesterday, Optimus robot by Tesla, which is doing Kung Fu, right? I can see in the future, maybe 10 years from now, a robot reporter, right?
Good Lord.
Now, just
Okay.
imagine that. So you're a reporter, you program that robot to be like your persona, and he goes out in dangerous places, right? And goes and covers a story. Now, maybe the reporters then don't need to be as courageous as they are going into very dangerous places to go and cover a story, where they just send their robots, a little bit like drones are going out to do dangerous things. So that'll be really exciting. Maybe my next team will be a whole lot of, like 10 years from now, robots, and all of the reporters and anchors, etc., are sitting in safe places.
What about robot managers? Can you see Vivek?
Look, I think one of the main things is AI has to be treated like a sandwich. What I call is an AI sandwich. So you have human bread, AI in between. AI is the jam, right? And if you have human intervention from the beginning, which is a starting point, and the finishing point, then you're really good. Now time is up.
Now time is up and time for tea and sandwich then.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Kalli. Thank
Thanks.
you. Lovely talking.